Hi, it's your instructor, Anitra Butler-Ngugi, and I am here to talk to you about designing your lesson plans. Here, we're going to submit a draft ELA lesson plan, and you can use the template that was provided in session 3. So please include your name. The date taught is optional. You don't have to include that. Please include the age grouping, so it could be based on the student that you're working with, the age of that student. I'm just going to put pre-K. And for your objectives, you will pull them straight from the Maryland State Common Core curriculum framework. I provided that for you right here. So when you click on that link, it's going to bring you to the Maryland College and Career Ready Curriculum Framework. This is for pre-kindergarten. You're going to come here and pick an objective. Okay, and you're going to copy and paste and put it here. Now, it says right here that you may choose from RF1, RF2, 3, or 4. The objectives are considered the essential skills. So let's explain that. RF stands for Reading Foundation Skills, Standard 1, which is Demonstrate Understanding of Basic Features of Print. We also have Standard 2, Demonstrate Understanding of Spoken Words and Sounds. We have Standard 3, Know and Apply Grade Level Phonics and Word Analysis Skills. And then we have Standard 4, Engage with a Variety of Texts. So you can choose which standard you want to work with. If you choose RF1, Demonstrate Understanding of Basic Features of Print, then the essential skills and knowledge would be your objective. So you would say, my students will be able to demonstrate an interest in print, or demonstrate proper orientation of a book, or recognize that a book has a front and a back. So you're going to pick one of these. Those will be your objectives. Okay, so I think I will maybe select one of these. I think I'm going to pull from RF2, Recognize Rhyming Words in Spoken Language. I'm going to do that. So my objective will be, with modeling and support, my students will be able to identify different environmental sounds. And you're just going to pull one. Begin to demonstrate auditory discrimination of rhymes, same ending sounds, identify rhyme in poems and stories. Okay, I think I'm going to do identify rhyme in poems. Okay, so let's copy that, and I'm going to paste that right here with prompting and support. You can say my students or the students will be able to, actually, no, and put that there. Identify rhyme in poems and stories read aloud. Okay, so then that's my first thing. Only pick one objective. Two, but to be an effective lesson and to be able to measure it, it's easier to measure one objective than two or more. So in this case, the key vocabulary would be rhyme. And if I'm going to use a poem, I may even put a poem. That would be my key vocabulary, rhyme and poem. Okay. The materials needed. I'm going to need a poetry book. So I'm going to call it a pre-K poetry book. So let's say pre-K poetry book or poem. So I have to hunt for this poem. And then we come to the introduction. So how am I going to get the students motivated to do this? So I might play a YouTube video, or I might sing a song. I might put on a musical track. that has a nice little rhyme to it. So how are you going to do it? So I think I'm going to do a YouTube video as a hook. If you do a YouTube video, include the link. So in this case, I'm going to just pretend that I have it. Okay. Now, after you've got the hook, which is the introduction, now how are you going to teach rhyme? And so the first thing I'm going to do is talk to my students about the vocabulary. So I'll say, okay, tell the students that words in our language have the same sounds. Then I'm going to use a picture. So that's going to be another material that I'm going to need. So I'm going to need some pictures of objects that rhyme. Yeah, okay. So then I'm going to come here. I'm going to tell the students that words in our language have the same sounds. All right. Step 2. Oh, before I do that, introduce the new vocabulary word, which is rhyme. I should say vocabulary words, rhyme, and poem. Okay. So I will introduce the word rhyme by showing pictures of objects, such as a rat and a hat. I will tell these students, to listen for the part of the word that sounds the same. Rat, at, at, and at. Do they both have the same ending sound? I would repeat this with other pictures of objects. Okay. Once students understand the concept of rhyme, I will then use 2 pictures of objects that don't rhyme. Can't type today. For instance, fan and sun. I will repeat that step about 4 times before going back to matching pictures that do rhyme. Now, time for the poem. I will now read a rhyming poem aloud. Preferably, if the poem is the kids can see the words, that would work. But if the kids can't see the words, you just read the rhyming poem aloud and have the students listen for words that rhyme. Okay, then I will repeat the reading of the poem and locate the rhyming words in the poem for these students. Okay. Maybe do a matching activity. Excuse me. I don't know why my thing is all the way over there. Okay. So let's do a matching activity. Students will match pictures of objects that rhyme. Okay, so now that's another material that I'm going to need. I'm going to need a matching, like a matching activity, matching worksheet activity. Okay, so that'll be out there. Okay, so students will match pictures of objects that rhyme. They can either glue them down or draw a matching line, however you want to do it. So follow up lesson activity, you would tell the students that tomorrow we will continue working on this. Tomorrow we will sing a song with some rhyming words. Then ask the students to tell you what does rhyming mean. Now, as I'm writing out this out this lesson, I just thought that I introduced my vocabulary as a poem, but I didn't include that in my lesson. So once the students understand the concept of rhyme, I will then do the pictures, I'll do the rhyming, then I'll repeat the reading of a poem. So here I'll read a poem. So here I should have said, I will define the word poem for the students. I will tell the students that poems use words that rhyme. Okay. Then I will read a rhyming poem. Okay, so I'll put that in there. So then, as a follow-up, tomorrow we'll sing a song, then I students tell you what does rhyme mean. Ask the students to tell you what does a poem do. See if they can remember that. Because poems are a little tougher concepts for young kids to understand, but we'll put it in there. We can give them the exposure. Now, this is the part where people lose points. The assessment is very important. So your objective was the student will be able to identify rhyme. Okay, so how are you going to measure that? Okay, so for measurement, I will assess the matching worksheet because remember, as the lesson closure, you gave them a matching page. So students will match pictures of objects that rhyme. They can either glue it down or draw a matching line. Rhyme on a worksheet. I'm just going to put that there. So here for measurement, you're going to assess the matching worksheet for mastery of this concept. If the student got 4 out of 5 correct, then it is considered mastery. Anything less than 4 out of 5 is considered in need of reteaching. Okay, so don't lose points on that part of your lesson. Make sure that your assessment is assessing your objective. That's how come I say don't do more than one objective, because if you have a whole bunch of objectives, then you have to assess that. So here we just have one, identify rhyme. So when we come down here, I can see if they can identify the rhyme with that worksheet. And I can measure it because I gave it a math assignment. I made it quantitative. So when you make something quantitative, you can easily measure it to determine if the student did indeed measure that concept or that skill. Okay, so I hope that this has been helpful for you and happy learning.